Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you can tell, my voice is slowly coming back. So I wasn't actually talking, and Justin could attest to this the last, 1 or 2 days. So really appreciate you bearing with me here. But today we're going to be focused on speaking to the topic of how to stand out from the crowd of generic event follow-ups using, of course, AssetMule. And one of the things that we really wanted to dive into today was the use case, why this is valuable. Then we want to walk through a template in our system to show you how to actually execute this, and then we'll wrap up with a Q&A. So for the folks out there who have not attended these before, go ahead and add any questions or comments or feedback that you have in the comments section. You're probably watching this on LinkedIn or YouTube. I'll be monitoring those comments throughout the session. So feel free to add anything and everything that you want in there. And like I mentioned, we'll get to those, barring some like really time sensitive question. We'll get to those towards the end of the discussion. So without further ado, like we always do, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Justin Dorfman, my co-founder. And by the way, I'm George Soto. If you have not, uh, again, joined one of these sessions in the past, one of the co-founders here at AssetMule. Justin, why don't you?
Well, yeah, let's give your voice a rest. It's definitely coming back, but I think a little bit more rest would help. Cool. Well, this is an interesting topic because it's very timely. I think we're all in the heat of event season right now, right? And I can speak for myself. I've been to one event so far this season, and I'm already receiving all these emails from all these vendors. And going on the other side of the coin, as the buyer, right? The the big question is, how do you connect with this buyer, right? How do you stand out from the crowd? How do you deliver something of value as a follow up to an event versus just being sort of archived away in the inbox, like I'm doing with so many vendors that are reaching out to me. And we've got our own event that we're going to next week, or not our own, but the big event that we're attending this season is HubSpot Inbound, right? That maybe many of you are attending as well. So we're even thinking now about how do we follow up to people that we meet at these events, and how do we stand out and drive engagement as a follow-up to these events. And as a result, we decided to build, we use our own tool, right? So we decided to build a template in our system. We started seeing some of our customers use AssetMule for this post-event follow-up and creating assets in our system. And we thought, what better way to dive into this topic than to share our learning so far during this office hour. So that's what we'll focus in on today. And I'll start by walking through the template that we've created, and sort of the different elements that we thought about for driving more engagement from event follow-up. And then I'll actually show you our own version of that template with our content in it, the one that we're actually going to be using for HubSpot Inbound, and how we're going to be leveraging it specifically to personalize and drive more engagement and hopefully book more meetings as a result of those conversations that we have at the conference. So let's dive in and take a look at the template. So I'm going to share my screen. As usual, George, just let me know that you can see it. All good? Cool. So for those that aren't familiar with AssetMule, just to take a very quick step back, AssetMule helps product marketing and sales teams work together to create more personalized, interactive, and trackable sales assets, all without designers. So it's everything can be done without needing to be a designer or having a designer on your team. One of the great things about our product is that from the get-go, you have a bunch of sales asset templates that you can use to make your own. Anything from one-pagers to case studies to competitive pages, sales decks, proposals, new feature, announcement one-pagers, and so on. And what we've started building out more recently, just seeing how our customers are using the product, are specific templates around use cases. So we've got a set of outbound templates that you can use to stand out from the crowd in outbound. And then we've got sort of your follow-up templates that you can use post-demo or post-discovery call to create a really personalized experience for your buyers with all the information they need based on their specific use case and goals. And then the new set of templates that we just added to the system, as I mentioned, are our event follow-up templates. And you'll see with a lot of these, there are 3 different versions. And this is just to support, like, our customers based on what type of assets they have and can embed in these templates. And what I mean by that is, on the right-hand side, you'll see here the event follow-up with interactive demos. So these are for our customers that actually have interactive demos. They've built them in Storyline or Novatic or How Do You Go or Walnut or Arcade or some of these tools, right? And they can actually embed those interactive demos in these assets. For those that don't have interactive demos, many do have product videos. So the event follow-up with product video, instead of the interactive demo, you got a product video in there. And then the just sort of standard event follow-up template, instead of having a product video or an interactive demo, has a space for screenshots where you can highlight different features. Today, I'm going to go through the event follow-up with interactive demo template. And when you use AssetMule, if you want to use this template, all you have to do is copy it. And this will create a copy that now you can make your own by adding your brand colors, your fonts, and your content too. So just to walk through this from the top to bottom, and a couple key themes that we're really focusing on with these event follow-ups to stand out, right? And to really engage your prospects and get those booked meetings. The first thing is personalization, right? And you'll see right from the top, we're personalizing these templates by allowing you to add your logo, but also add your specific prospect's logo. We also then give you space to add a sort of greeting message, right? Both in terms of some content here that you can write and a video that you can just add in here, using one of your favorite platforms like Loom or Vidyard or Vimeo and so on, and just add that sort of personalized touch to your asset. From there, we've got sort of the standard things, and a lot of this is tapping into social proof by adding your customer logos here, highlighting the problem that you solve, right? And how you approach solving that problem with your solution. And then kind of continuing down the path. And now sort of the second, I would say, piece to these assets is the interactivity, right? And as I mentioned earlier, the ability to actually put an interactive demo, in this case, we're using a Storyline demo, right in your follow-up assets so that the person that you met at the event can actually take a tour of the product and maybe show it to a couple of their other team members and sort of get that interest and understanding of your product that might lead to them booking a meeting with you. From there, a little bit more sort of proof points in terms of results and quotes, and even embedding some other assets in here. You can embed, your broader website, maybe a case study, your pricing page, or other assets in here. And all you have to do that is just add in a name, add in the URL to the asset, and it can be a AssetMule asset, or it could be just a page from your website. Anything with a URL, you can choose the icon that you want to use for it, and you just add it in there. And then finally, to close out, you can actually embed your calendar in here. I'm using Calendly, but you could use Chili Piper or HubSpot calendar and just embed it in here. And again, the idea is to make it super easy for your prospect to go from interest to conversion, right? And booking a meeting with you. So that's the standard template. And what I'll do now is I'm going to show you actually the version that we've created a copy like this, and we've actually put our content in it in preparation for inbound, which is next week. And this is the actual template that we're going to be using for inbound. Let me just delete that one that I just created. So here it is. And if I were a salesperson, using this template that maybe my product marketing team has set up and created for me, what I would do, and by the way, I'll take a step back. What I did here was I went to the templates page and I went to the team tab. We were originally in the AssetMule tab, which has all the sort of standard templates that you can use. Now I went into the team tab, which are all the templates that my team, probably my product marketing team, has set up for me to use. And we'll see right at the top here, the inbound 2024 follow-up asset. So I'm going to use that template to create an asset. And you'll see that most of my content is already in here because my product marketer has set it up for me. I've got a baseline help message. Actually, I'll kind of walk through it and personalize it as we go. So let's say I'm at LinkedIn at the event and I want to add in their logo here. So what I'm going to do is actually add their logo just by putting in their website URL. And what we can do is actually find those logos for you, automatically pull them in, all formatted and ready to use. And then, as you'll see here, I've got a baseline welcome message. Maybe my follow-up is to Jane at LinkedIn. So I may want to make some slight changes in here based on my conversation with Jane and the specific things she shared with me. And then maybe I'll record a quick 1 minute, 30-second to 1 minute Loom video, just sort of recapping how great it was to meet her and what we talked about and the next steps, right, in terms of scheduling a demo, but maybe even highlighting what this asset is and what's in here for her to check out. From here, I've got the logos, right? And remember, I'm sending this to LinkedIn, right? So a lot of these logos that we see here are more sort of your SMB to mid-market company. I might want to show some social proof in terms of enterprise companies. So one great thing about AssetMule is you can create these snippets, right? And snippets are sort of alternative micro bits of content that the salesperson can swap in and out to make it more personalized and relevant for their specific prospects. So in terms of these logos, I can pull up our snippet library, filter by any tags, including sort of enterprise tags. And maybe I want to pull in those enterprise logos there, right? And then continuing to go down, we've got the problem statement here. And, the level of personalization is dependent on the company and sort of how you set this up. But in the case of AssetMule, we use our own tools. So we've built different problem statements and imagery to go with that and all that stuff in this system. So let's say Jane is a product marketer, and this problem statement is more focused on sales reps and sales managers. So I can easily go in here and filter my snippets by product marketing and pull in the problem statement for product marketing, maybe a corresponding image here. And again, the pain point here is the lack of usage of sales assets that product marketers are seeing with their sales teams. So this speaks to that specific problem. And then the solution as well. Maybe the image is fine, but I'm going to pull in the solution for product marketers, the solution statement for product marketers. Oops, actually, let me go to product marketing here, and the solution statement there, right? And then I've got my interactive demo here. What's cool again is that, this is our main interactive demo and it works well for all these different use cases, but you could actually create a library of different interactive demos that have different use cases and different sort of workflows that you can pull in the right one. We've got our stats here. And again, I think these speak nicely to the problem and solution statements. And then finally, we got this quote here, and this is from a product marketer, and it does speak to that specific use case. But again, if I wanted to swap out a different quote, again, I can filter by product marketing, and maybe there's another quote that's better for that particular prospect. I can add any more resources and just sort of refine that. And then finally, I've got my calendar at the bottom here and I'm ready to go, right? So you'll see just in a matter of minutes, really, I was able to take this, add that last little flavor of personalization, and set this asset up in a way that really is going to make me stand out. And I'll show you how you can share that now. But before I do that, let's say I'm going to give this a name, Inbound 2024 Follow-Up and LinkedIn. And I'm going to go ahead and save this asset. And what I always like to do before sending it is to preview it and just make sure everything looks good and ready to go. And it does in this case. So to share it now, what I can do is I can hover over the share button and I can share it as a link. hyperlinked in sort of my email to them, a link in a screenshot, or my favorite and what we see with a lot of our customers is this share link with animated screenshot that I'm just going to grab here. And this is really key in terms of standing out. Again, all your prospects are going to be getting these emails from different vendors. A lot of them are going to be pretty generic. The same email sent to every different vendor, and you may want to do that, and every different prospect, and you may want to do that more broadly. But those prospects that you had really great conversations with, that are really great fit for your target, pain points and your target ICP, you may want to put a little bit more effort into that follow-up, really to drive that conversion rate to book meetings. So what I can do here when I write that email is paste in that animated screenshot, and you'll see from the get-go, they'll be able to see their logo there. They'll be able to see their name, that there's a video there, and some little bit of a preview that might cause them to want to click through and check out the asset. And when they do that, this is what it's going to look like, right? It's going to be a web-based asset. They've got the personalized message and video that they can click through. As they scroll through, maybe they stop and check out the interactive demo. And then finally, at the bottom here, maybe they go ahead and check out our pricing. And again, this is just an example URL here. It would have our pricing page. But yeah, and then finally, maybe they go ahead and book a meeting, right? And what's really awesome about all of this is that everything is tracked by AssetMule. So if I go back to my email inbox, now we'll see here this notification in real time that says, hey, somebody just viewed your inbound 2024 follow-up LinkedIn asset, right? And we know that there's life on the other side, that we piqued their interest and they've clicked through to the page. But what we can also then do is see all interactions. And I'll actually show you, you can click through that click through button, but also on the assets section, you'll see that inbound 2024 follow-up for LinkedIn, and you'll see some high-level metrics here, and you'll see the stats button here that you can also use to get to that page. And as I mentioned, now you'll see everything that they did on that page. They viewed the asset, they clicked on the video that we put in there for them, they clicked on the embed, which was that interactive demo, they checked out our pricing, and finally they clicked the book a meeting button. And again, for the salesperson that's doing the follow-up, this is a really, really great signal, intense signal that they're interested, right? They're engaging, they're checking out the page, and that they're worth continuing to follow up with if they didn't actually book that meeting, because obviously they were thinking about it, right? But also you'll see what else they engaged with. So maybe there's other information you can share with them, or an angle you can take based on the activity that they took on the page. On the other side of the coin, as a product marketer, you can check out all the assets that were created from for this campaign, see which ones are driving the most engagement and identify those trends across them, and get some insights into how you can continue to optimize your templates for the next event follow-up, right? And next set of templates that you're going to be creating. So that's the workflow. And again, I know we're full in event season. This is something that's available. The templates are available in AssetMule today. George will talk maybe a little bit more about, how to sign up, but there's a free forever tier that you can use to test this out for your next events, and really, help your sales team stand out, rise above the noise of all that event follow-up, and drive more engagement and book meetings, and really make the ROI of those events more in line with where you want to be. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and let's see if we have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Justin. Really, really great stuff.
I'm gonna hold you off on speaking if it sounds like it's a little bit of an effort still, but yeah, really excited to see how folks are using this template in the coming weeks with all these events. And one thing that's really interesting is you can use those templates, but you can also adapt them, right? None of those sections, none of those components are set in stone. You can delete them and pull different components into your version of the template, and align them with the type of content you want to be sharing post events. One question, that I have is, and I'm interested to see at Inbound next week, is how many companies are still printing off PDFs, right, at these booths, right? And also how those PDFs are resonating with buyers these days, right? Are people really taking those back with them to the office, sharing their teammates? A lot of us are working from home, so there's not an easy way to even share it with your colleagues, right? So is it worthwhile printing those off and bring them with you and having them at the booth, or is sort of this follow-up strategy a better one, right? Where you instead maybe take a couple notes on the conversations that you had with each one of your prospects that came to your booth, follow up with something that's more relevant and interesting for them, and that's digital and web-based, like what I just showed you, that they can more easily share around the team. It'll be interesting to see how this transforms over the coming years, and if the sort of printed off PDF continues to be a thing in the future. Doesn't look like we have any questions. George, I know you usually do the closeout. You can do it if you want. I'm happy to take care of it. Up to you. You'll have your voice back for the next one for sure. Well, if there aren't any other questions, as I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, AssetMule is free to use. There's a free forever tier. The way that it works is that it's based on the number of live trackable assets that you want to be able to have out there at any given time. So the free tier gives you 3 live assets. So you can sign up today, get started, start building your event follow-up templates, or using any of the other templates in the system that align with your needs. Create your first couple assets, get them in the hands of your sales team and your buyers, and see how it works for you. And hopefully you start seeing more engagement, more conversions from it. And if you like it, then you can upgrade to our paid tier, which starts at $50 a month or $480 a year. And that gives you 50 live assets. And then from there, you can add buckets of 50 assets. We're not tiering any features or anything like that. We're not capping any user counts or template, the amount of templates you can create and snippets you can create. That's all unlimited. It's really based on just the usage and the number of live assets. So give that a go. Let us know if you have any comments, questions, or feedback. Let us know how it goes with your event follow-up, right? And if there are any insights that you got from using it. This is a new use case for us as well, so we'll share our learnings as well. And then finally, if you like this topic and sales assets, and you're looking to learn more about sales enablement, this is what we live and breathe every day with our customers. So we're constantly sharing content on LinkedIn. So you can follow our AssetMule page on LinkedIn. You can follow George and myself, that we're sharing from our own personal vantage points as well. And we host these as well every week on Wednesdays. We try and cover different topics and use cases that we're seeing in the market. So let us know what you want to see next, right? What templates do you want to see in the system? What topics do you want us to cover? And we're more than happy to, continue keeping this fresh and making sure that we're covering the topics that matter most to you. But with that, if there aren't any other questions, we'll let you get back to your days, and we'll see you on the LinkedIn feed. Thanks everyone for joining.